Hello my dear students. Today we will continue with the topic electrostatics. Here first we have to find a field due to an infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire using Coulomb's law. Here infinitely long straight wire means what? Here we don't have to take too much long wire. Here we have to consider one wire and we have to find electric field at some distance r, for which length of the wire should be much greater than this distance r. If total length of the wire is much greater than r, then this wire can be considered as very long, infinitely long wire. Okay. And we have to find a field due to an infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire. Here wire that is uniformly charged. If it is uniformly charged, then charge density lambda will be constant throughout the wire. So here consider an infinitely long thin wire with uniform linear charge density lambda. Linear charge density lambda, that is uniform. Its value will remain constant. We know linear charge density is the ratio of charge to length. Charge per unit length is called linear charge density. One wire is given, that is very long wire, infinitely long wire, and that is uniformly charged. Right now I have taken positive charge on it. We can take negative charge also. Due to positive charge, we will get electric field away from the line charge. If we will take negative charge, then electric field will be toward the charge. We know that due to negative charge, electric field is always towards the charge, and due to positive charge, electric field is always away from the charge. Okay. Now here this wire is uniformly charged and we have to find electric field at some point P, which is at a distance r from the wire. And here this is the center, one point on the wire, that is O. Here I have considered pair of small line elements of the wire. These line elements are having length dx. Okay. Due to charge contained in this small line element, electric field at point P is in this direction. Due to this line element, electric field is away from the charge. Due to this line element, electric field is away from the charge in this direction. This way we will get electric field dE due to this small line element dx, due to charge contained in small line element dx. Okay. Now this dE makes an angle theta with this horizontal axis of the wire. Horizontal axis. This is the axis of the wire, and perpendicular to that is OP. With that, dE makes an angle theta. Therefore we can resolve this dE into two components: perpendicular component and parallel component. First component, that is component of dE adjacent to theta, that is dE cos theta. Component of dE opposite to theta, that is dE sin theta. If this angle is theta, then this angle will also be theta. Okay. From this point O, this small line element is at a distance x. This is point C. So distance OC is equal to x. Distance between C and P, small line element and point P, will be r square plus x square raised to 1 by 2. Same way, due to this small line element, we will get two components of electric field. Component of dE adjacent to theta, that is dE cos theta. Component of dE opposite to theta, that will be dE sin theta. Here you can see components of electric field parallel to axis of wire will get cancelled. dE sin theta components will get cancelled because they are in opposite direction. Both the components are having same value, same magnitude, and both are in opposite direction. Therefore they will get cancelled. And here dE cos theta component, these components of electric field perpendicular to the axis of wire are in the same direction, so they will be added up. to find a total electric field, we have to find summation of this dE cos theta components. That will give us total electric field. Consider a small element of length dx of the wire with center O such that OC is equal to x. Charge on the element. Here charge contained in small element, that is dq is equal to lambda dx. Charge is equal to linear charge density into length of the element, that is dx. Electric field at point P due to the element, that is due to small element, electric field at point P is dE is equal to, whenever we are considering small element, at that time whatever charge is contained in that can be considered as point charge, and we know the formula of electric field due to point charge. According to Coulomb's law, electric field due to point charge is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r square, that is square of the distance. So 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught due to small charge dq. Here 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into dq upon distance of point P from C, that is small element, is Cp square. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught lambda dx upon Cp, that is r square plus x square raised to 1 by 2, and square of that is r square plus x square. So this way we are getting dE, but effective component of electric intensity is nothing but dE cos theta, because dE sin theta is getting cancelled. So dE dash is equal to dE cos theta. So dE dash is equal to dE, already we found 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught lambda dx upon r square plus x square into cos theta. From figure, cos theta is equal to adjacent side upon hypotenuse. Adjacent side, that is r, upon hypotenuse, that is r square plus x square raised to 1 by 2. So cos theta is equal to r upon r square plus x square raised to 1 by 2. So I have substituted the value of cos theta, r upon r square plus x square raised to 1 by 2. Here dE dash is equal to lambda dx r upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square plus x square raised to 1 plus 1 by 2, that is 3 by 2. Electric field at point P due to the whole wire. Now here this is the electric field due to small line element. If we have to find total electric field, then we have to add the components of electric field perpendicular to the axis of wire. That is E is equal to integration of dE dash. dE dash, that is integration of dE cos theta. And dE cos theta already we obtained lambda dx r upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square plus x square raised to 3 by 2. Lambda r upon 4 pi epsilon naught, that is constant. So lambda r upon 4 pi epsilon naught as it is. Integration of dx upon r square plus x square raised to 3 by 2. Here this is the integration with respect to x, variable x, and value of x above the O is up to infinite, because this is very long wire, so up to plus infinite, and below O, that is minus infinite. So limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite. Now here using some mathematical formulas, taking x is equal to r tan theta. From figure we can see tan theta is equal to x by r. Here tan theta, that is opposite upon adjacent, opposite, that is x upon r. X by r is equal to tan theta. Therefore we can take x is equal to r tan theta. Differentiating both the sides, therefore dx is equal to r differentiation of tan theta, that is sec square theta d theta. Here x available, dx available. If we want to find r square plus x square, then r square plus x square is equal to r square as it is, x, that is r tan theta. So r square tan square theta. If we take r square common, then what will remain inside the bracket? 1 plus tan square theta. 1 plus tan square theta is nothing but sec square theta. So r square sec square theta. Therefore electric field E is equal to lambda r upon 4 pi epsilon naught integration. Instead of dx we have to write r sec square theta d theta, and r square plus x square, that is r square sec square theta. But r square sec square theta raised to 3 by 2 square will get cancelled, and what will remain? R cube sec cube theta. R into R square upon R cube will give you 1 upon R. So lambda upon 4 pi epsilon naught R integration sec square theta upon sec cube theta, that is 1 upon sec theta, that is cos theta d theta. Here limit we have to take from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, because we have taken x is equal to r tan theta. X is equal to r tan theta. If we take x is equal to plus infinite, for which value of theta we get infinite, that is pi by 2, tan pi by 2, that is infinite. And if you want minus infinite, x is equal to minus infinite, therefore tan minus pi by 2, that will give you minus infinite. So limit should be from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Here integration is with respect to theta, so we have to select limit according to theta, minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Lambda upon 4 pi epsilon naught r as it is, integration of cos theta, that is sin theta, and limit is from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Lambda upon 4 pi epsilon naught r as it is, sin pi by 2 minus sin minus pi by 2. But we know sin minus theta is equal to minus sin theta, minus minus plus. So sin pi by 2, that is 1, plus 1, that is 2, 2 to 4. So the answer of this problem is E is equal to lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught r. Value of electric field at any distance r due to infinitely long uniformly charged wire is lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught r. So this way, using mathematics, we can obtain the value of electric field using Coulomb's law. Now we have to study applications of Gauss's law. Now I will show you the power of Gauss's law. First application of Gauss's law, that is field due to an infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire. Now we have to find same thing, field due to an infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire using Gauss's law. So once again I am considering infinitely long thin straight wire of uniform linear charge density lambda. So here I have considered one infinitely long uniformly charged wire having linear charge density lambda. So linear charge density will remain constant for this wire. Now at some distance r, if we consider point P, then due to that point P, at point P, electric field will be away from this line charge, because I told you that due to positive charge, electric field is away from the charge. Instead of this positive charge, if we take negative charge, then direction of electric field will be towards negative charge. Direction will change. Okay. Same way, at same distance r, if we take point P dash, then at this point also magnitude of electric field will remain same. At the same distance r, if we take another point P double dash, then here also electric field, magnitude of electric field will remain same. On this circle, if we consider any point, then at each and every point of this circle, electric field will remain same. Magnitude of electric field will remain same. So EP is equal to EP dash is equal to EP double dash. But here we have to find electric field due to uniformly charged infinitely long wire at a distance r using Gauss's law. So whenever we have to use Gauss's law, at that time we have to consider one closed surface. So let me consider one here cylindrical surface. This is the Gaussian surface which I have considered. This is the positive charge distributed on this wire. This is uniformly distributed, therefore value of lambda will remain same. Length of the cylinder, that is L. Direction of electric field, that is pointing away from the charge, this line charge. Okay. Here the magnitude of electric field at every point on the curved surface of the cylinder is same, because all such points are at the same distance from the line charge. As we have discussed, if you take any point at same distance, then magnitude of electric field will remain same. So on this curved part of the cylinder, at each and every point, you will get same value of electric field. So here if we have to find electric flux associated with the cylindrical surface, then we have to consider one small line element, small area element. So here I am considering small area element, and electric field is away from the charge, and here area vector, whenever we consider closed surface, then direction of area vector is normally outward, perpendicular to the surface and in outward direction. So area vector is in r cap direction. It means electric field and area vector both are in the same direction. So electric flux associated with the cylindrical surface is phi 1 is equal to integration of E vector dot ds vector. If we remove dot, then integration E ds cos theta, that is the angle between electric field and area element, area vector, that is 0 because both are in the same direction. Electric field, magnitude of electric field, that is constant. So we can take it out. E integration ds, integration of this small area will give you total area of the curved part, that is the total area of the curved part of the cylinder. And if we find total area of the curved part of the cylinder, then that is nothing but 2 pi RL. So total area is equal to 2 pi RL into E, that will give you flux associated with cylindrical surface. Equation number 1. Now we have to find flux associated with the two end sides of the cylinder perpendicular to axis. This is the axis of the wire. Now here we have to consider two flat parts of the cylinder. These are the two ends of the cylinder. For that we have to find electric flux. Direction of electric field is same, that is pointing away from the charge, and direction of area vector for this flat part. If we consider this flat part, then direction of area vector is perpendicular, normally outward, that will be in upward direction. So upward direction. For this lower part, direction of area element will be in downward direction. Angle between electric field and area element is 90 degree for both the ends of the cylinder. So here flux associated with the end sides of the cylinder, that is phi 2 is equal to integration E vector dot ds vector. If we remove dot, then it can be written as E ds cos theta, where theta is the angle between electric field and area element. So angle between electric field and area vector is 90 degree. So cos 90, that is 0. So flux associated with the two ends of the cylinder is 0. So flux is only associated with the curved part of the cylinder. Total flux phi is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2. Phi 1, that is 2 pi RL into E. Phi 2, that is 0. So total flux is 2 pi RL into E. Equation number 2. According to Gauss's law, total flux linked with the Gaussian surface is charge enclosed upon epsilon naught. But charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface is nothing but linear charge density into length. Linear charge density, that is lambda, and length of the cylinder, that is L. Lambda L upon epsilon naught. Equation number 3. Comparing equation 2 and 3, from equation 2 and equation 3 we can write 2 pi RL into E is equal to lambda L upon epsilon naught. L will get cancelled. So electric field E is equal to lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R. Lambda, that is the linear charge density, that is constant. 2, that is constant. Pi, that is constant. Epsilon naught, that is constant. So we can say lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught is constant. Therefore electric field is inversely proportional to distance of point of consideration from the wire. So E is inversely proportional to R for this case. Here if we have to find vector E, then vector E is equal to magnitude into unit vector. So magnitude, that is lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught into 1 by R, and unit vector will give the direction of electric field. Direction of electric field is in the direction of R cap. So into R cap. So this way we can find electric field using Gauss's law very easily. So this law will make things very easy. Easily we can find electric field when there is a symmetry. For the system which does not have symmetry, for them also Gauss's law is applicable. But when the symmetry is there, then we can easily find the value of electric field using Gauss's law. Thank you.